Imagine this. It's the 1950s in sunny California. A young girl with big dreams is on a public tennis court, racket in hand. But everywhere she looks, inequality stares back at her. Women athletes earn a tiny fraction of what men do, even when they draw the same huge crowds. Society whispers that girls shouldn't be too competitive, that they shouldn't love whoever they choose. This was the world that Billie Jean King grew up in, a world that tried to put her in a box and limit her potential. Born Billie Jean Moffett on November 22, 1943, in Long Beach, California, she was an athlete from day one. Her dad was a firefighter, and her mom was a talented swimmer. Even her younger brother Randy would go on to become a Major League Baseball pitcher. She was a natural at softball and other sports, but everything changed when she was 11. She borrowed a racket from a friend, took her first tennis lesson, and fell head over heels in love. This is it, she thought. This was going to be her path. But the injustice of the world hit her early and hard. When she was just 12, at a junior tournament at the Los Angeles Tennis Club, something happened that would change her forever. After the matches, all the young players gathered for a group photo, but Billie Jean was told she couldn't be in it. Why? Because she was wearing shorts that her mom had sewn for her, not the traditional frilly white tennis skirt. As she stood on the sidelines, watching all the other kids in their perfect white outfits pose for the camera, a fire ignited inside her. She realized everyone in that picture was white, and they were all dressed a certain way. That single moment planted a seed. She decided right then and there that she would dedicate her life to fighting for equality. By the time she was a teenager, Billie Jean was already a force to be reckoned with in junior tennis. At 17, she and her partner Karen Hans won the Wimbledon doubles title, becoming the youngest pair ever to do so. She turned pro and started climbing the ranks with a fierce determination that few could match. In 1965, she married Larry King, who was incredibly supportive of her ambitions. He introduced her to feminist ideas and encouraged her to chase her dreams. They seemed like the perfect power couple, traveling the world as she collected victory after victory. By 1967, Billie Jean was ranked world number 1. Over her incredible career, she would win a staggering 39 Grand Slam titles, including a record 20 at Wimbledon. She was a champion on the court, but off the court, the inequality was a constant source of frustration. In the early 1970s, it was common for women players to earn just 1/8 of the prize money that men received, even when their matches sold just as many tickets. Promoters like the famous Jack Kramer publicly dismissed women's tennis as an inferior product. Billie Jean saw the problem crystal clear. Talented, hard-working women were being systematically undervalued, underpaid, and completely overlooked. And she knew that if they didn't do something about it, nothing would ever change. So, what was the solution? Action. In 1970, Billie Jean and 8 other incredibly brave players, who came to be known as the Original Nine, risked their entire careers. They broke away from the establishment to form their own professional tour, sponsored by Virginia Slims as cigarettes. They were banned from major events and told they were destroying the sport. But they persevered. In 1973, they founded the Women's Tennis Association, the WTA, with Billie Jean as its very first president. She lobbied tirelessly, and that same year, she convinced the US Open to offer equal prize money to men and women, the first major tournament in history to do so. But the world still needed a wake-up call, and it came in the form of Bobby Riggs. Riggs was a 55-year-old retired champion and a self-proclaimed male chauvinist pig. He went around boasting that men were naturally superior athletes and that no top woman player could ever beat him. He proved his point, or so he thought, by easily defeating Margaret Court in an exhibition match dubbed the Mother's Day Massacre. After that, Riggs set his sights on Billie Jean, challenging her to what he hyped as Battle of the Sexes. At first she said no, but after Court's devastating loss, Billie Jean knew she had to accept the challenge. This wasn't just about her anymore, this was for all women. It was for the future of the brand new Title X law, which guaranteed girls equal opportunities in school sports. So, On September 20th, 1973, the stage was set. Over 30,000 fans packed into the Houston Astrodome, and an estimated 90 million people tuned in worldwide, making it the largest television audience for a tennis match in history. Riggs made a grand entrance on a rickshaw pulled by models. Billie Jean was carried in like Cleopatra on a golden litter. The spectacle was huge, but she was laser-focused. She had trained harder than ever before, and she dominated him. In straight sets, 6-4, 6-3, 6-3, she dismantled Bobby Riggs and his chauvinist talk. That victory was so much more than a personal win. It was a cultural earthquake. It shattered myths about women's capabilities, gave a massive boost to the women's liberation movement, and proved on a global stage that women deserved to be treated as equals. While she was changing the world publicly, Billie Jean was fighting a deeply personal and difficult battle in private. In the late 1960s, while married to Larry, she began to realize she was attracted to women. In 1971, she started a secret relationship with her hairdresser, Marilyn Barnett. The pressure of hiding her true self was agonizing. She struggled with eating disorders and lived in constant fear of losing everything she had worked for. The tennis tour officials warned her that if she came out, it could destroy women's tennis. Then, in 1981, the secret was forced into the open. Marilyn Barnett filed a palimony lawsuit against her, outing Billie Jean to the entire world. She became the first prominent female athlete to be openly gay. The backlash was immediate and brutal. She lost millions of dollars in endorsements overnight. Instead of hiding, she held a press conference and, though terrified, admitted the truth. The fallout was devastating, and she had to keep playing tennis longer than she planned just to pay the legal bills. But in the end, telling the truth set her free. She and Larry divorced amicably in 1987 and have remained close friends ever since. Soon after, she found lifelong love with her partner, former pro tennis player Alana Kloss. Together, they've built a joyful, authentic life and continue to champion equality through their foundations. Billie Jean's story shows us that true freedom comes from living your truth, no matter how scary it seems. So, what can we learn from Billie Jean King's incredible journey? She gives us a practical blueprint for overcoming barriers in our own lives. First, recognize and name the injustice you see, whether it's in pay, opportunities, or a simple acceptance. Just like she did after being excluded from that photo as a kid, let your anger fuel you into taking action. Second, build your community. The original 9 knew they were stronger together. Find your allies, the people who will stand with you in your fights. Third, prepare relentlessly. Fourth, embrace your fear and use it. Billie Jean famously said, "Pressure is a privilege. It means you're in a position to do something that matters." She also said, "Champions keep playing until they get it right. Don't be afraid to fail on your way to success." Fifth, live authentically. Hiding her identity caused Billie Jean immense pain. Embracing it, despite the consequences, ultimately empowered her and countless others. And finally, be an advocate every single day. In her words, be bold. If you're going to make an error, make a doozy. Take responsibility, make decisions, and fight for what's right, even if your voice shakes. In 2009, Billie Jean King was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States, for her tireless work for women's rights and LGBTQ rights. Today, at 81, she is still a powerful voice, reminding us that the fight for equality benefits everyone. If you want to dive deeper into her story, I highly recommend the 2017 film, Battle of the Sexes, starring Emma Stone and Steve Carell. There are also fantastic documentaries like Billie Jean King, Portrait of a Pioneer, that tell her story in her own words. Her legacy inspires us to stand tall, fight fair, and love openly. So, I'll leave you with this question. What inequality will you challenge today? It doesn't have to be a global movement. Start small. Speak up in a meeting. Support a colleague. Be your most authentic self. Because as Billie Jean King showed the world, one person truly can change the game. Champions don't just win. They adjust, they keep going, and they lift others up along the way. Now it's your move. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about game changers who shaped our world. See you next time.